Mr. Kerr, it's an honor to meet you in person and a pleasure to have you in Egypt again.
Thank you for having me, Angie.
So, how was the homecoming for you?
It was wonderful, wonderful. It had been a long time since I had been in Egypt. 1985 was the last visit I had here. And, I lived here for 3 years. When I was in school, my father was teaching at the American University in Cairo. And I went to Cairo American College in Mahdi and had a great 3 years here. So wonderful to return.
You always say that you have like a broader perspective of things, a global view of things, and I always hear humanity. And how did the years back then contribute to this impact?
I just think meeting people from all over the world, living in different cultures, you get a good sense of the fact that people are just people. Everyone is the same, but we come from different places and different cultures, and so we have different customs, and eat different foods, and maybe practice different religions. But we're all the same, really, and you gain that perspective when you travel, and especially when you're able to live somewhere overseas, like I was able to. Sometimes I think in America, people don't have a broad enough perspective on, for example, when I lived in Cairo, my friends would say, "Is it safe?" I said, "Well, yeah, it's actually more safe than Los Angeles. It's very safe." So I think it's great for people to travel and meet people and be in different cultures.
Mr. Kerr, your camps have always been very accessible to people of different backgrounds and abilities and genders. How do you regard accessibility and inclusivity in basketball?
Well, I think the beauty of sports is that it brings people together, and basketball in particular has become a global sport. When I played in the NBA 25 years ago, there was just a handful of players who weren't from America. Today in the NBA, there's over 100 players, foreign players. The game is being played all over the world. The game in Egypt now is becoming very popular. And I think the NBA has made a real effort to try to help young players, boys and girls, all over the world to fall in love with the game. We're trying to help teach them the game and give them opportunities that they wouldn't otherwise have.
You have mentioned that you, in the BWB here, you coached the team of the young girls. Would you please tell me what are the steps needed to be taken to encourage females and athletes to have like a more equal and a more profitable athletic career, just like the males, the gender gap, narrowing the gender gap?
Yeah, well, the women are getting more and more opportunity now than they used to, and it's very important. Because playing sports is so important in the growth of a young woman's confidence and experience and ability to communicate and be part of a team, and so it's wonderful to see, and for me this week to coach young girls. And our team was great. They were from all different countries in Africa. A couple were from Egypt. We had girls from Senegal and Ivory Coast and Tanzania and Mali. And it was beautiful to watch them have so much fun together and enjoy the game and really see their personalities blossom, as they gain more confidence. And that's what sports does. That's what basketball does. It's much more important than maybe we get a couple of players from the camp who play in the NBA. That's important too, but it's really about the experience and the growth for all of these kids.
You're talking about Curry and how being a good person and a player with empathy makes you even a better player. Can you touch on that?
Yeah, I think any team sport, it requires players who really connect with one another. And to me, it's the beauty of playing a team sport instead of, golf or tennis or something where you're on your own, just one-on-one. And so when you're on a team, the more connection, the stronger the bond between the players, the better team that you have. And so when your best player, like us with Steph, when your best player has so much empathy and humor and joy and humility all together at once, it's really powerful, and it makes the team that much stronger.
And if I might ask you about the striking the right balance whenever choosing the coaches or the players, what's the balance? What's the thing that you try to maintain?
I think what we look for is players who love the game, because if you don't love the game, it's hard to become really good at it and to be really committed to winning, and because it's a lot of work. So the players who love to play and love to be part of a team are the ones that we seek, and then if you can find players who are also very competitive and want to win, and those two things can go hand in hand. It's Draymond Green and Steph Curry for our team. They're great examples of athletes, people who are unbelievably competitive, who want to win, but love what they're doing and show great joy while they're playing. Yeah. And to me, that's the beauty of the game.
The BWB in Africa, does it have a different vibe?
It has a great vibe in Africa because basketball is relatively a new sport in Africa. They've been playing basketball in Europe for much longer. Even Australia, basketball has been played going way back. But in the African countries, it's really kind of the last 30 years or so, ever since the 1992 Olympics in Barcelona. That's when they call it the Dream Team. The NBA sent all these players over, Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley and David Robinson, and the whole world fell in love with these players and that team. Yeah. And from that point on, the game has gotten much more global, and in Africa in particular, the NBA has tried to help grow the game through Basketball Without Borders, through BAL, which is the African Basketball League, through clinics and camps, training centers to help young players play the game and understand the game better.
So actually, since the 90s and the 80s, you've kept an eye on the progress of basketball in the region? Did you notice any progress, differences, things are...
Oh, yeah, it's dramatic. Especially the facilities. When I was a student here, I played on the school team at CAC, and we would play all the club teams around, Zamalek and Ahli and Gazira Club, Mahdi Club. We played all those teams, and no one had an arena, no one had a gymnasium. We play on outdoor courts. And so now to come back and to see this beautiful arena where we had the Basketball Without Borders camp, to meet many of the players on the national team and the coaches of the national team, and to see, I think it was last year when the Zamalek Club won the African Club Championship.
Yeah, they've been causing waves in every aspect now. Yeah.
So basketball has really exploded. It's come so far since I was here last.
Okay, congratulations on the latest one. And
Thank you.
What are your dreams in the near future for the Warriors, and your advice for athletes in Egypt, the aspiring ones?
Yeah, I mean, for the Warriors, we start our season next month. In September 24th is our first practice, so it's right around the corner. And we hope to win another championship. That's always the goal. Yeah. And as far as Egypt, I'm just so happy to be back here, and it's wonderful to see the city has grown so much, and there's a lot of great things going on here in Cairo and throughout the country, and mainly just wonderful people. This is what my family and I remember about Egypt from when we were here all those years ago, as everyone welcomed us, and
you still find the spirit.
Same thing, same spirit that Egyptian people have, and same welcoming attitude towards Americans, and it's been wonderful to experience.
Yeah. And for the young athletes, what would you, if you would like a couple of advice, main things?
to learn how to be a good teammate, is so important, and to understand that it's not easy always, in sports. And so part of the experience of playing sports helps you to understand leadership and how to become a good teammate and help each other. And that's one of the great things about sports for young children.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to meet you in person and to have you in Egypt here.
Shukran.